Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to week 3, facility operations. I hope everyone's doing well this morning. Hopefully everyone survived the federal election yesterday, and hopefully everyone was able to get out there and cast their vote. Sorry. I ended up voting yesterday. I don't know why I didn't go into the early voting, but there was no lineup yesterday for where I went. It was just walk in, took about 2 minutes and came out. So really didn't take that long to vote yesterday, which was a good experience. The whole process was pretty quick. Looks like we have a Liberal government back in place in Canada, for those that care about that. And everyone should care, I guess. All right, we have about 15 people online, including myself. It's good. Also want to just remind everyone, take the second to remind everyone this class is recorded as it is every week and is posted on Blackboard. Usually the same day. I try to get it up the same day. Sometimes it takes me, sometimes I get distracted, but I think for the first 2 weeks I have been able to post the class the same day. Sometimes it's just a little bit slow getting, a 2 to 3 hour recording put up on YouTube, but I've worked it out, which is good. Also put up on my first slide that the Blue Jays symbol, Blue Jays logo, which is, I don't know if anyone follows any baseball or any sports, but unfortunately lost last night, but still in a playoff position, which is nice. We have a good young team that is ripping up the league in September, which is nice to see. Hopefully they do okay for the next few weeks. Hold on to that playoff spot. Right, what are we gonna, let me just pull up a few other slides here. There are a few other bits of information that I need to get rolling. Okay. Now I just want to check in with everyone. It's 8:04. Okay. Now, if you want to use the chat today to answer this question, today's actually, the rest of this week looks like it's going to be pretty rainy. We had a beautiful weekend. I was able to get away, go to Algonquin Park, do some paddling on the big lake, Hopiango. Did some fishing, which was nice. Caught a few fish. But just beautiful weather out in the lake, but looks like we're into the rain this week. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much. Really limit my outdoor activity. But just to get an idea of how everyone's doing today, in the chat, I'm going to ask you a question, how you're feeling. And today I want to know how you're feeling by using a breed of a dog, so a type of a dog. So today I want to know how you're feeling. Like, are you feeling like a Great Dane that you can, big and powerful, or are you feeling like a pug where you have, maybe a pug would resemble that you have some allergies or something like that, because they use they do a lot of snorting. Maybe you feel like a boxer or a lab or something like that. But let's use the chat. Right in the chat, tell me how you're feeling by using a breed of a dog. I'm feeling pretty, how am I feeling? I'm feeling like, okay, Jack, feeling like a poodle. Okay, that's good. A lab for Morgan. I'm trying to feel, how do I feel today? Let's go with I really do feel like put down a chocolate lab. Oh, a shepherd. See, I was thinking of a shepherd this morning because I think a shepherd's pretty well ready to do a job. They're pretty powerful dogs. Always seem like the law enforcement has shepherds ready to go. I feel like a chocolate lab only because when I left the house this morning, I forgot my lunch on the counter, and I just think, well, the word chocolate is in there, so I'm just thinking of food right now, even though I already had some breakfast. But chocolate lab is how I'm feeling right now. We have a few huskies in there. Huskies are, maybe you're getting ready for the winter, or a Malamute, just even more like a sort of a husky on steroids. Okay, Malamute, big winter type of dog. Yeah, they're beautiful dogs. They don't like the summer too much because they're so hairy. They love the cold. Year round outside. Excellent. Anyone else got some dog breeds that they might feel like a Chihuahua or a Shih Tzu or something like that? Maybe they just can't think of a dog breed. All right, guys are got a few responses there. You know, it is okay to write something in there. Try your keyboard out. It probably works. Okay. What do I have on the list to talk about this morning as we get rolling? Okay, so week 2, what did we talk about? We talked about, started off with COVID and facilities and just the effect it's had on some major league sports. We did talk more about ancillary spaces, core product extensions, and then we had, we broke out and talked about a controversial facility article. We had 2 of the same about the weight, the scale. We had some about a pipe that burst in a stadium, and my memory is failing me now, but those were 3 I remember. And assignment 1 is due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure you have your assignment 1s emailed to me. Hope that everyone can find my email address. It's on Blackboard under instructor information. So please visit that if you don't know what my email is. And any questions on assignment 1 as we get rolling? Is there anyone that has any questions that wants to ask me anything about assignment 1 at this point? No one's having any problems. You're able to figure it all out, answer the questions. Right? Remember, you can give me a thumbs up too. The emojis work up top. If you haven't used the emojis before, you know, if I'm asking a question, it's okay to throw a thumbs up in there to let me know that you're listening and that you understand what I'm saying. Thanks, Fennell. That's good to know. All right, let's go on. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through chapter 2. It's a bunch of slides I have. At the end of probably one of the last things, we're going to go through chapter 2. Have another thing we're going to do when we're going to break out into rooms at one point. Not exactly sure when that's going to happen, but I have a slide that will trigger that. And probably at the end, I will talk about assignment 2, just to get people rolling on that. Assignment 2 is worth 20% of your mark, so it's probably something you're going to want to spend some time on to do a decent job. You think of 20% of your mark, that's 1/5 of all your marks for this class is in assignment 2. So it's worth twice as much as one of the tests. I think our first assignment was 10%. I can't remember, but 10%. So twice as much as our first assignment. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, chapter 2. Managing rec facilities. All right, so things we will talk about in week 2. What is facility management? What does a facility manager do? Let's see, discussion about stakeholders and technology in facilities. Fundamentals, structures, natural versus man-made. We'll talk about that. And facilities in general. Recent changes in facility management. And positive versus negative factors. And career implications. So we have tons of stuff we're talking about today. Holy smokes. Hopefully we can cover all this. We have till, remember, we will take 2 breaks. We'll take one at 10 to 9 and 10 to 10, approximately, because sometimes I just keep talking and I lose track of time, or maybe we're talking about something that just doesn't make sense to stop at that point. Okay. Just trying to watch the chat as we're going along here in case there's any questions. Let's go back to this. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, what is facility management? And actually, I should mention I did change the configuration of my desk. So if I'm not looking straight at the camera, it's because I have a screen on both sides of me now. So if you see me looking back and forth, it's because I am, that's where my screens are set up now. I put my camera in the center so I don't look directly at the camera. That is why. All right. Okay, so what is facility management? Primary purpose is to ensure a facility is run safely for all those who might be in and around the facility. So what does that mean? Facility management entails a variety of skills such as planning, designing, leasing, project management, facility marketing, and construction management. So we're looking at all these things. So planning, designing, it's kind of like the building process, construction, planning, designing, facility, construction management. Project management would be, could be any of the renovations that take place, facility marketing. So these are definitely some of the skills. What would you think is the most important skill and why? And well, that could be up for discussion. Let's go on to see what in here. Is facility management the largest part of the job? Is maintenance the largest part of the job? So when surveyed, facility managers have highlighted that maintenance absorbs the greatest amount of their time for 17%, followed by space management, interior design, and budgeting. So these are some of the larger ones that they have said that takes up a lot of their time. Okay, so we can see that maintenance is a big part of the position, and we will have a full week just on maintenance. And we'll have another full week on design. And we'll have a week on budgeting and forecasting, and space management as well. That would be scheduling. So space management also be talked about as scheduling. Okay. So the duties of a facility manager. So there's long and short-term planning. We talked a little bit about planning, I think the first week or last week, I can't remember what week it was, when we talked about Georgian and the strategic plan and long and short-term planning, financial forecasting, property acquisition and disposal. So, some of it is, buying or purchasing property or getting property for different sports areas. It could be fields or for, 1 second. Just had to mute someone there, just a little background noise. Architectural and engineering planning and management. managing all phases of construction and renovation work, managing maintenance systems and protocols, managing all operations from administrative functions to security protocols. Okay, so lots of different hands-on type of activity that is taking place. Facility manager assigned a wide range of tasks in planning, designing, and managing facilities. They're responsible for coordinating the physical workplace with the people and work of an organization. And what other functions or jobs do you think a facility manager needs to be engaged in? What skills do you think you bring to a job? So if you're thinking about things that maybe I haven't listed here, what other jobs do you think a facility manager will need to be engaged in? Just feel free to drop something in the chat if you think some things have been missed on the list, because there's a good chance I know I've missed a few things on purpose to see if anyone can pick them out. Give me an idea. What other functions does a facility manager have? Can anyone give me an idea? So if we go back,
daily, weekly maintenance.
Yeah, weekly maintenance is definitely part of it. Like could be your day-to-day, weekly. Could it be like maybe it's not the long-term planning and designing, it's the running that facility, right?
Planning events.
Planning events, yeah, event planning or event setup, anything to do with events. The facility manager is probably the key person in that. Depending on the size of the facility, you may have a specialized person for facility or for event setup, but facility manager is going to have to be a big part of event planning.
What about like programming, training staff?
Ariel, thanks, Matthews. Hoping someone would pick up on the staff and programming as well. So programming could be part of the scheduling, but obviously we could break down scheduling and talk about programming. And facility rentals is a big part as well. And the staffing, I think that is a huge part I was hoping someone would pick up on and tell me about that. The staffing is going to be taking up a large part of your time. If it's scheduling staff or if it's managing staff, there is a huge responsibility there with the people. So training them, scheduling, managing, all sorts of functions there to do with people. Thanks, Matthew, for all those suggestions. Anyone else have any suggestions of what else might be missing from what else could be done here? Hope everyone has a warm drink today. I got my tea right here. How about some of the things where the community engagement? Do you think there's anything that a facility manager has responsibilities within the community? Would they be sitting on any sort of committees or associations or things like that? There's definitely some community engagement that's taking place. And how about yourself? If we're looking at going to meetings, waivers, risk management, thanks, Serkan. That's a big part of it. Risk management's a huge part, and we will talk a lot about liability in one of our lectures this year. Risk management, going to meetings. I think going to meetings, Morgan, is definitely something that's going to happen, but I think we want to look at what are they doing at those meetings. Is that an event planning meeting, or is it a liability meeting, or is it a staff development meeting? So there's all sorts of different meetings. So definitely they take place during the meetings that they go to and they hold. Could be just staff evaluations and things like that. So if you think of yourself, maybe you've been in a facility position in the past or currently, now what sort of skills would you bring to the job as a facility manager? You know, is it, you know, I'm not going to give any out there yet, but I'm sure some of you can think of some of the skills that you have that you could bring to a job as a facility manager. Like what would you say is a skill that you have that could be transferred or used as a facility manager? Thank you, Brendan. Organization, 100%. If you have any sort of organizational skills, they can be used on this in this position. Team player, so teamwork, team player for sure. Being a team player, big part. Just think of facility manager. How many metaphors can you think of, you know, that relate to, you know, being the quarterback of a team? I'm the, you know, that sort of analogy that that you can use. Okay, we have some coming in now. So analytical and problem solving skills. Thanks, Pujan. Yes, definitely some problem solving skills. Just think of how many, when you think of problem solving, also, you know, people can also say troubleshooting. So, oh, and then we look down here for Oriana, just the triage technique. So that's sort of the same theme there, problem solving, triage, troubleshooting. They kind of will definitely go together because of, you know, someone say, you know, like we had the article last week, okay, there is a pipe burst over section 513 of the facility. How are you going to get that one shut off and divert it to another pipe? So, or there's a person that's had a heart attack, or you know, there's a rowdy customer, they've had too much to drink or something like that. Who knows? So triage techniques, all these things that happen in the facility, you're going to need to know how to handle them and understand and train your staff to also be able to triage them. You know, what's the most important? If you have a facility that has hundreds of people or thousands of people in it, you can bet that there's going to be issues that you're going to have to triage, and you have to be prepared to look after those on the spot and make, you know, split-second decisions. So communication as well will be important. I know Ian and Jack both put communication down. I always think that communication is one of the most important ones. If you have poor communication, how can any of your other skills be good? Like if you're not able to communicate with someone or your team, then, you know, what are your other skills going to be like? How can you triage properly if you don't have good communication skills? Or how can you be a good team player if you don't have good communication skills? So definitely one of the foundational skills that you would need to have good communication, if it's verbal or written skills, or verbal and written are the two big ones that always come up. But delegation as well, Oriana, sorry. Delegation, so that would be, you know, not to, you know, I think sometimes it's appropriate to, you know, roll up your sleeves and be that team player and get in there and, you know, help clean something up or help fix something or whatever, wherever, you know, if you are needed as well to help. But, you know, if you once you start doing that, you take yourself out of the management position somewhat, and you are, you know, who's going to be looking after other delegation or other communication if you're in there with your sleeves rolled up. But if it's like, okay, the concert's over and there is like way more garbage on the floor than you anticipated, you're short staffed, you know, get in there with a broom, or, you know, get in there with your hands and pick up the garbage too. So delegation is important many times, but it's also important to get in and be, you know, do, or like what the saying is if there is a saying, but get in there, roll up your sleeves and show that you can do the same work. You know, don't delegate any work to someone else that you want to do yourself. So stay calm, Kushi, stay calm in difficult situations. So definitely is important. If you get excited or overwhelmed in a difficult situation, what's going to happen to your staff? I imagine they're going to get a little stressed out, have a lot of anxiety. You know, if you don't know how to handle a emergency and EMS situation, then you know your staff's going to freak out as well. Unless you have a staff that's a leader and can pull things together. But you know, you need to know if someone goes down with an injury, you know, slips, breaks their leg, who knows, falls, bumps, or you know, passes out, cuts their head on the edge of a counter or whatever. You know, they go unconscious. You know, what are your steps? We will have a full class on emergency situations as well, how to handle those. So very important to know how to stay calm in difficult situations. And I think staying calm, one of the things that attribute to being calm is to understand your responsibilities and the processes and procedures that need to take place in situations. So a lot of it comes down to training staff properly. So if your staff are trained properly and know how to respond to these situations, then usually things do stay calm. You know, if it's you know, difficult situations where, you know, and it's hard to avoid stress or anxiety. Let's say it's like a lockdown situation on campus, or in your facility. You know, those are stressful regardless of how well you plan for them. But you know, staying calm in difficult situations is important. So how can you run a facility more effectively with all these responsibilities? Now, I think I've maybe discussed some of them as they've come up with, you know, communication, staying calm, delegation, triage, being a team player. I think one thing I don't know if I saw here, but even providing leadership. So leadership's a big skill. I know we didn't really put that down as that sort of thing. Maybe we kind of team player leadership, they go together, but leadership is being the providing proper leadership. But you know, what sort of leadership will you provide to your team? You know, will you be a person that just is, you know, giving out tasks to look after without, I guess, any sort of understanding of a person's capacity? You know, without any sort of judgment, we would just hand them out, you know, like a dictator, that sort of thing, or you'd be more of a democratic leader where, you know, the tough job doesn't always get given to the same person. A lot of times the person that overperforms is always given more work and the tougher jobs, where the underperformer will give the easier jobs and less responsibility. So, you know, how will you recognize that as a leader, as a manager? The other skill I'm thinking of, and it's sort of a softer skill, would be empathy. How will that be important to, you know, have empathy when you're in a position? You know, I can think that, you know, a skill like empathy will be important to, you know, if a person, you know, if you are handling an EMS situation where, you know, a person's life is in danger, and this does happen in recreation facilities. We know that people, either the participants or just the sheer amount of people visiting, there's the chances are that someone is going to get hurt and need EMS. So, you know, afterwards, you know, you need to debrief your group and talk about what happened and to be sure that everyone's okay. There's a lot of things will trigger people if they've been in other situations. So, you know, being able to be empathetic, provide empathy, let's go with that, is important for you to do, and to recognize when another person needs that support. So I think that's another skill that maybe we haven't mentioned as well. So you can see there's And there is a difference, you know, when you say empathy or compassion, is there a difference? And there sure is, but we won't get too deep into that right now. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. What is that next slide? There we go. Can you give an example of how a manager has to respond to emergency at a sport facility? So let's say Oriana has given some information here, and so has Kushi. I think those last two, maybe even many of the examples that have come up are very appropriate for emergency situations. So communication, you know, triage, delegation, stay calm. I think those last four are even, you know, the problem solving and being organized. So those are all things that will be transferable into an emergency at a sport facility. I think I've seen, I've been, when I grew up, I did a lot of hockey. So I've spent a lot of time in arenas. I have 3 kids that played hockey. So there was a fair share that I've seen of injuries on an ice rink. Like it's just, you know, it's a little bit different than, so I'm just not saying the contact's different than soccer, but there are boards in hockey that young kids run into and get hurt. There's no boards in soccer, but you know, I understand there's the hard ground and there's a lot of other injuries that take place in soccer. And my kids played soccer as well, but I think in hockey there seems to be a lot of different injuries. If there's, you know, you're carrying a stick that people get hit with, so injuries that way. The puck is something that definitely causes injury, but what I'm getting at is it does happen a lot. You need to be able to respond to those emergency injuries. There's been ambulance, you know, come to the arenas, stretchers on the ice. So people need to stay calm, understand, delegate. A lot of times it's the therapist or the trainer, where they get the sort of that amateur person that looks after the injuries, and they, even though they were they still took courses to train them to know what to do, because these are emergency situations. And how would you lead those in charge of if you were a facility manager and there was an emergency? So I think we're definitely discussing that right now. And let's see what else. Okay, so let's move on to stakeholders. Who do you think are the stakeholders for your college's athletic recreation facility? So let's get into the chat here. Some of you that have not touched the keyboard yet, at least here, let's see if you have some ideas of who do you think and if you don't know what a stakeholder is, it's kind of a, maybe not a proper, it is a term we use, people, you know, like users of the facility. Who do you think are all the players in the Georgian College's athletic and recreation facility? Who are the people, are the groups of people that are involved in the facility as users, as workers, that sort of thing? Like, give me some examples. Okay, we are getting lots of students are definitely part of the athletic and recreation facility. Now, if you break it down, I know we see college teams. Thank you, Serkan, as well, and Brendan, sort of the athletes, college teams. Now let's think a little bit more diverse. So college teams are coaches, good. Think of, like, even break it down a bit further. Like, are there college teams that you know exist? Like, is it just generally college teams fall into that one group? Does it break down a bit further? Like, is there different type or levels of competition or teams? Are there other users other than students? Like, who else uses a facility? There's got to be more than just students that use a facility. Faculty, okay. Brandon, that's good. Faculty in, I guess I'm going to say, in the sense that they are you thinking they're teaching in the facility or using the facility as facility users? Okay, Poojan, you have staff members. So staff members, are these the people that are you thinking the people that work in the facility as the staff members? Poojan, is that the people that you are talking about? Yes, okay. So the ones that work in the facility, so we can have that. Outside renters, thanks Morgan. Yes, we have, when the facility is running, there are rental hours each week that outside users come in. So it could be the Barrie Soccer Club. It could be, I know baseball clubs come in, soccer, sorry, I just said soccer. There's different sport teams, badminton, volleyball, outdoor or outside clubs come in. So Brendan, yes, users, I would say could be another, well, I think we need to break it down a bit further than users. We can say users, yeah, it's not incorrect, but it's not very specific either. So registered individuals, are you, Serkan, are you talking about like fitness center members or members of the facility? Is that what you would talk about for, okay, yes, okay, so the members, so all students, there are some staff, faculty, administrators that are members of the facility. So the staff, faculty, administrators will pay usually off their like a weekly payment. I know students pay as well through their athletic ancillary fee. So the users for the facility, so to get through that turnstile, typically you have to be like a registered individual, a member of the facility, unless Ian, you're a spectator, and then you can come in. You may be coming in to watch a varsity volleyball game, basketball game. Those are the top ones that I would say are in the facility. But then if you're at the Jamie Massey Sports Field, maybe you're out watching rugby as a spectator. Who paid the fee to attend this facility? Right. Okay. How about we can think of, oh, what other stakeholders do we have that we have? Let me just think here. We've talked about quite a few of them. We have our student staff as well. Our students that we have lots of part-time student staff would be one of the stakeholders in the facility. And I'm going to even look at the students that use the facility. Can be, you know, varsity athletes, to be campus recreation participants. There could just be some drop-in users that just want to shoot hoops in the gym. It could be fitness center users. It could be group fitness participants. So you can see how the students can break down. Each one of those groups of students would have a different interest in the facility. So if I was a group fitness participant, so I went to Zumba every Thursday at noon, then I would have a different interest in the facility than if I was a student that dropped in to shoot hoops in the gym, you know, every day at lunch or something like that. Or compared to a student that's a varsity athlete. Each one of these participants, these stakeholders, have different interests in the facility, and they're all important. So if you're gathering information as from a survey, from a focus group, and you're asking the questions like, what part of the facility do you use the most, or what's the most important to you? We're going to do an expansion and we want to expand the X, you know, part of the facility, you know, the gym, the fitness center, the multi-purpose room. Each one of these stakeholders are going to have a different answer for you asking that question of, you know, specifically, we want to do an upgrade in the facility and we're trying to figure out where to put our money. Can you give us some guidance? Well, you have to understand that every stakeholder and these different user groups would have a different response. You know, they may all say change rooms. That might be one area that they would agree on. They may all, but they might not agree on because of the area that they use. They would have a different answer there. Now, what priority should be given to each group and why? So if the gym is being rented out, Like we only have so many hours in a day. Let's say the gym goes from, I think the gym opens at 6 a.m. or 6:30, something around there. I know the time's changed a little bit over the last few years, and it goes till 10:30 or 11 at night, I'm pretty sure. So we're looking at, how many hours is that in a day? From 6 to 11, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 17 hours a day that the facility's open. Now, is a user group going to want to use the 6 to 7 a.m. or the 6 to 7 p.m.? What's the more popular time? So if you probably said the 6 to 7 p.m. is the more popular time, you're probably most likely right in most of the time. So who's going to get the priority of using that part, the gym at that point, or the multi-purpose room for that, for that matter, or the sports field? Who does get to use the facility during those prime times? Now, how would you, what from all the different groups I'm talking about, if it's students, staff, if it's rental groups, what group do you feel should be the top priority in the Georgian athletic facility, and why? Give me some answers in here, please. Fitness facility attendees, okay. So if we're looking at the fitness facility, they may not be, I guess if you're looking at they only use the fitness facility, there might not be other user groups that would also use it. Like, I don't think there's a lot of struggle or priority to put in the fitness facility. I think I'm just trying, like, there's no time that one group could use it and another group couldn't, because it's one space that multiple groups could use it at the same time, or multiple users at the same time. There might be the most amount of people might be your fitness facility attendees. True. Rental groups, Jack feels it's the rental group sports events taking place at facility because they are paying for the spot. Okay, that's a good way to put it, Jack, that they're actually paying for it. But I think if you could make your argument to that, I think what you and maybe it's a unique situation when you're looking at the Georgian facility, because students are also paying an ancillary fee for the facility and to be a member. So if you're looking at a community center, let's say East Bayfield, and you said what's the priority, I'm thinking rental groups probably do have the priority, but then you're looking at what kind of rental groups do you have? Do you have kids groups or do you have adult groups? Now, I know I went through a situation at Allendale. We used to play men's hockey every Sunday morning from, I think it was 8 till noon. It was 3 different time slots there, went an hour and a half each. And we had that time, it was probably 30 or 40, not that I'm played for the full amount of years, but it was 30 or 40 years that from the day Allendale was open, they had this Sunday morning men's league. But about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they booted out the men's league and said, yeah, this is your final year. You do not have priority over a kids group. We're going to give the time Sunday mornings to a kids hockey. So us as adults lost our time because of the priority placed on that stakeholder group, that user group, during that time of the day. So even though that we were paying for it, because of our, I guess, the city of Aurelia's mission or vision or values, they put more value on the younger group of users, so the kids. I'm thinking in the Georgian College facility, it would be students, but what kind of student participation is taking place? Is it varsity sports that get the nod at the 6 to 7 p.m. at night, or is it drop-in soccer? Like, I just want to play some soccer, I'm going to open the gym, and anyone that drops in wants to play can just drop in. So that's something that a facility manager is going to have to figure out and prioritize as you have a facility. So if there's a space that has definitely high use, high interest, competitive users that want to use it at the same time. So possibly in our gym, there is one possibility is that our gym can be divided into quarters. If you haven't been on our gym, we have curtains that come down. So to divide the gym either in half, it can go into a half and 2 quarters, or it can go into 4 quarters. So we have a few configurations, although the quarter gym is a full volleyball court size plus a little bit extra for the outside of the court. It's not a full basketball court. It's close, but not quite. I don't think it is. So things like that. You have to keep that in mind when you are giving priority to different user group. And let's see. And then when you have a larger field, let's say BMO in Toronto, you have 2 main tenants, I believe, that play there. It's Toronto FC and the Argos, which is the Canadian football, the Toronto football team. So I'm thinking they have to schedule their sports as well. Even if you're looking at the Rogers, whatever the ACC is called now, Rogers Center, if it's called Rogers Center as well, maybe someone can correct me on that, with the Leafs and the Raptors play. So they also, who gets priority in that building at the Rogers Center with the Leafs and the, Nicholas, are you going to correct me? Please do. Rogers Place, Scotia Center. Thank you. Thank you. Scotiabank Center. If you're looking at Scotiabank Center, who has the priority there? Is it the Leafs or is it the Raptors? Can anyone tell me that?
Would it be even?
Well, Matthew, that's a good question. Is it even? I believe it's the Leafs. Oh, well, it's probably their home game night. So when you're looking at sort of that hockey night in Canada event, that Saturday night, the Leafs probably would have priority on the Saturday night. You don't see the Raptors play on Saturday nights too often, unless the Leafs are on the road and not playing at home on Saturday night. So that's that, but I think the Raptors usually have a Friday night home game, so maybe they have priority on certain nights of the week, because you kind of get, if you're a basketball or if you're a hockey fan, you do get used to watching that team on a certain day of the week. It does have that way, but I would say they're pretty even. Okay, what's our next slide here? Technology. Okay, dealing with constituents and applying the managerial function are necessary for managing a facility, but technology has significantly changed how facilities are managed. Can you explain why? Okay, I'm going to just stop right here. It is 10 to 9. I'm going to pause for 10 minutes. And when we come back, we're going to talk about technology in a facility. And if we're going to look for some examples of when technology wasn't present and the way technology has improved the process, let's say, or added to the process. So we will regroup at 9 o'clock in 10 minutes. All right, we will see you in 10. Okay, it's 9 a.m. I am back. Hopefully everyone else is back. Can't see your faces, but I can see your names, which is good. Still hanging on to, oh, we lost maybe one person. We're down to 19 people. Or maybe someone was in here twice. So good to see everyone back. Okay, what the question was that I left you with as we left at 8:50 was regarding technology. So in managing a facility, technology has changed significantly how facilities are managed. Can we get some examples out here in the chat of how technology has changed how facilities are managed? Okay, and I'm hoping you had 10 minutes to think about it, so you should be like chomping at the bit, waiting to put an answer up in the chat. And Oriana, thank you for being the first to jump right on that and starting up the conversation. So keyless entry, huge technology advancement. So, going from keys are pretty well almost a thing of the past in many facilities where there are tap cards, there are sliders, there are could be a combination, sort of a 5-digit or 4-digit code to enter into a room. So much easier than fumbling for keys. So maybe we're not quite there in the older facilities. Some are retrofitted to get new keyless entry points. Okay, Morgan Lewis, Bluetooth music. I like that. Now, the days I think are pretty well past of having music wired into your facility, or it might still be on some of them. There is wire abilities, but there are so many wireless technology advancements that are currently available. So I'm thinking Bluetooth just got me thinking there, Morgan, that probably in fitness centers, it's so easy just to get your Bluetooth music going. Also, wireless score clocks. So if you think of the Georgian facility, and you may not have ever been to a basketball game, but they use set up on one half with the score table right in the center of the gym. They had this hatch in the gym floor that was, I don't know, maybe 12 inches by 12 inches, like 30 centimeters square. Open it up, it has all the connections to the clock. Well, there's being on the floor, so much dirt, just sand and grit gets into that. Even though it's covered, it's so hard to keep the dirt out of that. So what they have got, and this was all the wire from, I'm gonna just tilt this a bit. The wire from the floor up to the score clocks. And in our gym in Barrie, we have, I think, 4 score clocks that we have wires to. But what we ended up doing is because of the actual connection issues with the dirt being on the floor, so on, we have gone to wireless connections. So you just bring that box down, put it on the table, and it connects to the score clock wirelessly. How awesome is that, right? This wireless technology was not available 20 years ago, or maybe it was 20 years ago, but not quite at the same level of, or the, I guess, good level of being able to transmit and dependability. Okay, let's see what else we have on our chat. Membership cards on smartphones, YMCA apps. That's good. Okay, where is your membership card, sir? It's on my phone. Just scan your phone. It's just like using your different affinity cards that go to Shoppers Drug Mart. You scan your phone. Your Air Miles, you scan your phone. All these different methods for getting your points. Also, they have payment from your phone. You can use your debit card on your phone. So many smartphones are providing the ability to be that membership touch point where I think a lot of people do take their smartphones in to work out with them in facilities. It's just, you know, it's probably that way definitely to stay connected with friends and people may listen to their music on their phone and that sort of thing. So their phones, membership cards, yes. Improved administration softwares. So yes, Brendan, there's probably lots of different examples of softwares that have improved. Everything from, you know, heating and cooling from your smartphone. It's phone that would have, you know, let me pull up the app that controls the temperature in the facility, and I can go to all the different zones are listed. So it could be the men's change room, women's change room, it could be the back hallway, it could be the front reception desk, it could be the climbing wall, and then you can control the heating from your phone just by increasing the temperature in certain areas. So that's one way. Other way could be lighting off your phone. Some of us may have smart lighting in your homes where you can control from your phone or from voice activation or that sort of thing. Better security and time management. So Poojan, yes, the security would be your cameras, your recorder that records any sort of movement in your facility for security. So your cameras, it used to be called a DVR, digital video recorder, and then it might be called a digital recorder now, where it just records it digitally on a computer storage. So depending on how many cameras you have, and they're only motion activated, so they're only recording times that there is motion in your facility. Also door unlock. We had a system where it just go to our computer. It had a map of the facility and had all the doors listed, and we could unlock the doors from our main desk. So if people needed to get into a storage room or a team room or a maintenance room, we could unlock them from our front desk. And time management. So time management, it could be keeping track of the hours that people work. That sort of time management would definitely be possible, as well as scheduling software. So use of the facility and user groups coming in, generating permits, and that sort of use. Online registration for participants, that does happen as well, where you can sign up all online now to participate in whatever activity it is in your facility that you want to participate in. Okay, I like the one Morgan put on with the sliding doors. It's sort of I guess a technology thing for sure. You know, how inconvenient was it, and maybe none of you even remember this, or you should, is going into a ice arena with your hockey bag, trying to get through a single door. But you know, now that most facilities, hockey arenas, which I'm talking about, all have the sliding doors. So you just the motion door where you walk up, and I think you all understand this, walk up, doors open, your bag, your hockey sticks don't get stuck on any doors. So awesome advancement. That would be one of my top ones, honestly, just as a user and carrying equipment in. Easier access online for members, keeping COVID in the chat. Easier access online for members, keeping, not exactly understanding that one. Kushi, maybe you can just explain that a bit more. Easier access online for members. Technology for tracking athlete statistics. So yeah, it could be, there are weight machines that you can just tap your card, your wrist bracelet, and it pulls up your I'm benching 100 pounds or whatever it is, at how many reps, so it could keep track of that. So that's definitely something that can happen. Time management, shift starting or shift is getting to finish. Sure, yeah, time management for staff working. So it could be that you're like a punch card, you tap your card when when you get to the facility, so it knows when you have entered. And I see Kushi's just writing a little addition to what they had put. Just think of membership cards. I know we had the phone, but your membership card for swiping into facility. You don't have to show your card to anyone. The technology picks up the card. Some of the other ones that I'll just point out that we have is just the heating. The heating software would be when so you schedule it so that the facility warms up or cools down when there are users in the facility. So depending if you want it hotter or colder. And so if your facility opens at 6 a.m. for use, 5:30 things start to heat up or cool down. So you're conserving energy during your downtime. So if you close at 11, possibly the fans slow down or the temperature just it stops heating or cooling during your, say, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. time. That's one thing. We also have something that in the gym, we have our curtains and our basketball backboards. So you all may remember going to your public school and having to crank the backboards of a basketball net up or down to use them. That was not very fun to do. That would, maybe some of you enjoyed doing it. I certainly didn't enjoy doing it, maybe for a minute or 30 seconds, but not for the full, 5 or 10 minutes that it took to raise or lower the hoop. So now it's just at the Georgia gym, it's basically plugging in a code of what basketball net you want raised or lowered and pressing a button, and they all either, whatever ones want it raised or lowered, can do that at the same time by pushing a button. Very convenient. Same thing can be done with the curtains in the facility. Very helpful there. Also have technology that they're called occupancy sensors, so OCs they call them, short form, or OS, sorry, occupancy sensors. And it's when a person walks into a room that the light turns on, occupancy sensor. So that would be saving power, electricity and it times out after 5 minutes. Like my lights in my office here are actually off only because when they're on, I look like a silhouette and people can't see me. So for your benefit, you can see me, and out the lights in the office do time out when people leave the office. So after a few minutes, they will go off. So those are important technology advancements. Just think of other ones that we can share here. Okay, I'm also thinking of the lighting. Lighting has changed so many times. So it's gone from what they call the incandescent bulb, which is the old style light bulb, going to fluorescent. Then they had compact fluorescent, and now there's LED. And I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of different there's halogen and so on, other lighting changes in there. But now LED is the standard for most facilities. Why LED? Basically, it's the amount of power that it's drawn and the life expectancy of those bulbs. So you may see, in your house, you may change a lot of the bulbs over to LED. A technology advancement has changed not really how it's managed, but how you can save significantly on energy. Now, one of the things is kind of cool on the Jamie Massey sports field, which we have, our artificial turf field on the Barrie campus. It used to be a ball diamond up in that area. So now there's a ball diamond. Maybe you don't know, there's a ball diamond down below or closer to the campus, and then the sports field is the furthest away. That used to be a ball diamond there. Used to have lighting, the old metal halide lighting. They're like 400 watts each. They're massive lights, very bright, and just used to spray light everywhere. So when the field was redone, and there's all sorts of very cool things about the field. There's drainage that works there, and it's so on and so on, technology, and the whole sports turf technology can be discussed for hours on the way it has advanced and feels like real grass, but I'm getting just to the lighting point here. The lighting was designed, all the lighting around the sports field right now is LED, and it was all designed with computer software to point even like in the area that the players play. So all the houses around the facility before would have this ambient lighting from these big lights that were somewhat focused. You know, they have big cones that pointed down on the ball diamond, but now these LED lightings are so, I guess, precise, and the way they can put up, I guess, deflectors and aim the light so it doesn't go off the field into people's room windows or in their backyards or whatever. So the light is very focused on the field. Quite an interesting feat. So it's, you know, everything was like, oh, it needs to be 39 degrees, not 38 degrees, or you know, that sort of thing. So it was quite interesting on how the whole light. And you know, I find, you know, if you can find lighting interesting, I guess that's it, right? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, we'll go on to here's. All right, this is technology. Okay, let's go to, if I can, I don't know if this is going to work. I may have to stop sharing the screen for a second. Hold on. Give me a minute. I can get, whoops, where'd it go? Hold on a second, where's my mouse? Sorry about that. Let me get this going and I will share it, hopefully. One moment, for some reason it's a bit slow. Oh, here it comes. I will share, it's not sharing yet, so just give me a second. Just the commercial is playing, 1 second. Stop that. Here, escape. Let me just share this. Holy smokes, the amount of things I want to share. There we are. And thanks for being patient, everyone. We are here. So technology, I don't know if anyone's seen this clip before. Antelope hits cyclist. So this person, I'm going to play this right now. Okay, it's only a minute long. So the reason I was just showing you that little clip, and I might have forgot to share the sound, sorry if I did forget to share the sound, is that the helmet was some interesting technology that saved that person's head. So there was a marketing campaign after that that showed, or that said, you know, the helmet was tough enough to withhold the strike of an antelope. So interesting that that happened. There's just another technology thing. If it was, you know, years ago, you know, the person's head might have been quite injured if they didn't have that helmet saving them. So just a little bit of entertainment there of a biker getting hit by an antelope. Okay, in Africa. Okay. So let's see what we have here. So fundamentals of recreation facilities. So we're moving on from technology. Facility refers to the environments where leisure activity occurs. Facilities can include natural occurring resources such as a park, areas and lakes, or they can be man-made structures such as museums and health clubs. A facility can be indoors or outdoors. Facilities are important to recreation professionals. So when we think of recreation facilities, we have to be quite open-minded and to understand that they can almost, whatever your imagination is, then you can feel that it might be a recreation facility. So a park or a lake or a museum or a health club. So just a variety there. And I'm just looking back at the chat for a second. Thanks. I will get back to that in a minute. Okay, so structures. The recreation facilities exist in two broad categories of structures. So these are two broad categories of natural or man-made. All right, so we're going to watch a clip here and give me a moment to get this rolling. Again, hopefully this is a bit quicker in the transition. Give me a moment to cue this up. All right, I will try to share the sound this time. There we are. I forgot to click on the sound button last time. Okay, so this is Minnesota Twins target field construction time lapse. All right, this right here, what I'm showing you is a model. Actually, is this the model or not? I always forget if this is a model. I think it's actually the real. I think it looks somewhat computer generated to me, this picture, this with the people, but it might be real. Okay, so we are going to watch this, and I want you to be able to tell me how much time has expired in months, years during this time lapse. So we have 1 minute and 14, okay? And ready? Just watch and try and tell me how long it takes to build this facility. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Let me stop sharing that. All right. Can anyone tell me? I have to... 8 to 10 years is a bit too long. 3 years, a little over 2 years, 3 to 3.5 years, 5 to 7. We have a few more, a little over 2. We have a few more guesses, 5 to 6, 4 years. Okay, I'm going to go with, oh, we have a few more. Ian, 2, 4. I'm going to go with Brendan as being pretty close to being the most accurate. And if maybe Brendan was watching the snow come in, there was 3 winters that passed. So we're going to go with 3 to 3.5 years. So Brendan, you are the most accurate on that one. Okay. I want to show you one other one, which is a bit closer to home. Let's get this stopped. Hold on. One moment, just changing screens here. Oops, hold on a second. I think I forgot to presenting. There we go. Okay, this one is the Sky Dome in Toronto, and the quality is a bit less. Maybe they didn't have digital cameras back in '88, but Sky Dome, Rogers Centre, built. Okay, so I don't know how many of you have been to the Rogers Centre, but let's play this. Okay. Okay, we'll stop it there. We didn't need the full 2.5 minutes to play that, but pretty amazing architectural feat in its day of 1988, 89, I believe it opened. And you know, it was one of the first retractable roofs that was designed in facilities, or major facilities. There's quite a few other ones that have taken place more recently. And maybe someone can remind me of the one that I'm really amazed with, and I maybe should have pulled it up here, was it's kind of like a camera lens that opens up on top. It's a football stadium. Maybe someone can remind me which one that is. It's in the States, but I think it's called Mercedes-Benz Stadium or something like that. But there's quite a few different stadiums now that have retractable roofs. Pretty amazing. The Sky Dome at the time, that was quite a feat to see that happen, and very important for Toronto to have that sort of roof where you have awesome summers, but you have cold, snowy springs and cold, snowy falls, where if you're a baseball team like the Blue Jays, you want to be able to, you know, play all your games and not be snowed out. All right. Okay, let's go back to here. Got it. All right. I put up some other, if you're following along on the chat. I'm sorry, let me get this backwards. The Sky Dome, if you wanted to watch a longer session on the building of the Sky Dome, if you're interested in watching that, the building of those structures, it's kind of cool. I would recommend just clicking on that second link and watching that. Okay, so natural environment facility might include lake, a stream, cave, or other natural resources. Maybe some of you have been to the caves up in Collingwood, or you've been, there's other caves around Ontario that you can go and visit that are commercialized. Lakes, I'm hoping people have been to provincial parks or state parks where they have lakes and streams and other natural resources. You know, there's the whole Bruce Trail that goes from Niagara Falls to Tobermory, which is a cool natural landscape that is considered a well, a park can be, or a trail that's a natural environment. But then we look at other natural environments, such as, what do we have here? Natural environment that regulates the use of the area as auxiliary service. Okay, ski and boat rentals and facilities may be managed by local, okay, state, federal. When we look at golf courses, and you know, are those considered natural environments? Well, let's have a look at this. Just give me I'm getting a little bit better on. Just let me skip the ad. Let me put that on pause. Okay. Share this with you. Sorry, but and I should apologize about that music from the Skydome. That was almost irritating. But I didn't write the music. Okay, this one here is Erin Hills Golf Course, but it's a putting course, they're calling it. Okay, so have a look here. This is I think it's Ireland or Scotland, and they built, so we look at this picture that we're looking at right now. Looks like, oh yeah, they've just put the natural environment in place and put a putting green course there. But let's watch this and we'll see something different than that. That's what it looked like. Just stop it right there for a second. They even have lighting that they put on this. So as you can see that, you know, we might be fooled by a natural environment, but, you know, in this case, we are seeing that it actually is natural, but it is man-made. They are, you know, basically reconstructed the whole landscape to bring in I guess the different putting areas that they wanted to have on that putting course. So when you think of golf courses in a natural environment, yes, they are keeping some of it, but you have to also understand they've they've adapted the facility and brought in bulldozers and that sort of thing to change the facility around. Okay, so natural environment. You know, this is this picture here, natural environment where, you know, a stream is found in a park, but you can see the walls of the stream are concrete or brick or block. So they've kept the water running through, and it's probably a better idea. In the city of Barrie, they have done lots of stream rehabilitation. So many of the streams down around the lakeshore were covered going through large pipes, like through culverts. But they've uncovered them more recently in the last 5 years, and there's Kids Creek is one of them. I forget the name of the other one, but they now have uncovered them, and they provide natural habitat for wildlife, so ducks and fish and that sort of thing. So a little better than having just a pipe sticking out into the lake. So man-made structures, facilities is a designated area that facilitates a process, operation, or course of activities that is conceived, planned, and built by people to deliver a particular recreation product. Man-made structures can be either indoors or outdoors. They're designed to deliver a specific product. So we can argue that a golf course is a man-made facility, but it has in the natural environment. An outdoor man-made facility can range from local playgrounds to tennis courts to large water parks, sports stadiums. Indoor man-made structures can observe many forms, including bowling alleys, major resorts, and some structures may include both indoor and outdoor, such as swimming pools with concession buildings and locker rooms. Okay, so a facility, extensiveness, uniqueness, and complexity, and I think we're going to talk about each one of those. So facility extensiveness. So this is a interesting one. I'll just get this one pulled up as well. Give me one moment. Let me skip the ads. Whoop. Okay, hold on. It just crashed part of my program. Lovely. Okay, hold on a second. Share. So this is an interesting facility. It is basically an indoor ski hill in Dubai. And we know Dubai is one of the warmer places in the world. So it's basically a shopping mall attached to it. And this is a home video. It's hard, I couldn't find any really good videos in this, but they have man-made snow making facility inside the structure in Dubai. It has you can see the lights up top. There's a chair lift. I think this person that's filming this is on like a tow rope that would more pull you up on the snow. And you can see how far up this goes. People are, it's probably, I don't know, as big as maybe Snow Valley, possibly in some locations. You can see once they come up around this corner, they make a bit of a left turn. And let's see, it keeps on going up. So this is all indoors in Dubai. Quite an amazing feat to put a ski hill in the middle of a desert. So it keeps on going up to, there's about the top of it. Pretty amazing. And just think of the weight of this and how they could air condition it, how they can make snow in the desert, how they can, then how can they stop this from rusting, and like what sort of waterproofing did they have to do to, because the snow is, is it going to melt all the time? Is it going to be cold enough? It's going to be, is it refrigerated underneath like a hockey rink? Pretty amazing that this can take place, a man-made structure, ski hill indoors. So something that is fairly amazing technological feat that they did here. So wanted to point this out. Okay. Go back and just give me 1 minute, because when I pulled that up, my PowerPoint just crashed. So give me 1 second to just reopen up my PowerPoint. 1 second, just opening. All right, it's open. And what slide were we on? We were on uniqueness, complexity. Okay. Okay, we're getting close. All right, let me get that up and running again. Boom. And I'll be back sharing that. Sorry about the delay. Okay, complexity. Technology has created a more complicated work environment. We can see by the ski hill, facilities and equipment involved in the science of human behavior and structural and mechanical technology, making the daily duties of a recreation facility manager more complex. Other things, if anyone's ever been to the West Edmonton Mall, they have a skating rink in the middle of the mall. The Oilers have played games there. They've practiced there. Actually, maybe not, maybe exhibition games. Figure skating takes place there. They have a tank with dolphins in it inside with the mall. They have a roller coaster, full-size roller coaster in the mall. It's just kind of amazing, the architectural and that feats that they have put together for these rec facilities. Okay, Next one, recent changes. Today, the emphasis is on using a facility to its capacity while maximizing revenue and minimizing expenses. So we can find facilities can be changed into many different things, multi-use facilities. Even the Scotiabank Center can be adapted into different facilities. Okay, the better a facility is used, the more it is perceived as beneficial to the mission of an organization. There are some reasons for change in emphasis. Reasons for this change in emphasis: demand for functional space, advancing technology, code interpretation, cost savings, protection against liability, interest, and sustainability. So these are all things that allow for multi-use of facilities. Demand for functional space, and that's one that, let me step back. Okay, I just want to see if we're going to go, we're going to demand for functional space, advanced technology, and I'm going to move right into this one right here, which is the code interpretation. And we're going to stay here for a few minutes where we want to know what AODA is an abbreviation for, and it is the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities. So you find Accessible Act or Disabilities Act. That you'll find this throughout North America. It could be in, in Texas, in Alberta. So it would be something different, but AODA is what you'll find in Ontario. And what I want to do now is we're going to break. I know we're getting close to our break time, but we're going to push that a little bit. We're going to break into groups. And if you can pull up, if I can actually share it in the chat, I'm going to stop sharing this. And in Blackboard, there I have put the in-class assignment number 2. Do I have my internet? Oh, hold on a sec. Post it. Let's say orange, close that down. I try to move from one bit of technology to the other, try to make it somewhat seamless. Sometimes it's difficult to make it seamless, but posting this stuff up and getting it coordinated, course information, weekly learning assignments and tests, it's under there. Where is my, oh, I put week 3. Okay, there it is. You can see it under assignments and tests, but I am going to drop it. Can I share this? Attach something. There we go. Upload from my computer. And close assignments. Here we go. All right. Okay, there it has been posted. So this is going to be our in-class assignment for this week. That didn't work. Okay, I think it posted. Is anyone able to open up the attachment that I? Oh, hold on, it hasn't been sent yet. Huh, there we go. That's why. Okay, you should be able to open that. And I'm going to just share my screen so you can just look at it for a moment. Okay, so again, we're going to be in groups of 3 or 4 people, and we're going to be looking for accessibility photos. All right, so 5 positive photos and 5 negative photos of hopefully rec facilities if you can find them. So accessibility, when you think of accessibility, it could be ramps, seating, elevator doors, sports being played that are for people with accessibility or issues. So we're looking at, it also could be things like things in the bathroom, that sort of thing. So you're going to find the 5 photos, okay, and answer what is shown in the photo and why do you consider it to be positive. So it could be a ramp, it could be sliding doors, it could be something like that. Same thing with negative. Negative photos, why is it negative and what should be done to fix the problem? That could be it would possibly be a photo of stairs, or it could be photos of doors without automatic openers on them, or it could be countertops that are too high, that sort of thing. So those are what I'm looking for. So you're gonna be collecting these 5 photos positive, 5 negative photos, and you're going to attach them to an email. On this sheet that I'm providing, you're going to write down what is shown. So photo number 1, this is a photo of a ramp into a pool that provides people with wheelchairs the ability to get into a pool, or that people that cannot use stairs, they can walk down the ramp. So that's why it's positive. Is everyone understanding what I'm asking for here? Is there any questions? All right, I'm not hearing any questions, so that's good news. Okay, so we are going to move into, let me just find out here, breakout rooms. They are going to be random breakout rooms. Okay, I have you all ready to go. Most rooms have 4. So once I open this up, then you should be going into your rooms. I will visit each room quickly just to make sure you're okay. And I will give you until about 10 o'clock. So, and then we'll take our break. After we'll reconvene at 10 o'clock. So it's in 13 minutes. And then we will just have a break right after that. Okay, so I'm going to push the button to get everyone into rooms, and then I'll visit each room. All right, so see you in your room. Rooms are opening. It does take a moment to open them. And you should automatically be placed in the room. Still happening. Here we go. If you're in the main room here with me, you should be going into your breakout room. So I still see about 9 of you in this main room. You should be moving into the breakout room.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
I'm gonna go to the breakout room. I'm not able
Yes,
to.
please. Yeah. Can you move to the breakout room?
No, I'm not able to understand how can. Yeah, how I can.
You should have been moved. Let's see. Kushi, what room are you supposed to be in? You should have moved. All right, let's just see if I can figure this out. Hold on a second. Meeting Alec. Hold on, give me a moment. I will just move you. I will have to move some people manually, but that's okay. Let's see if I can do that. I will figure this out. Give me a moment. Okay. Room 1 unassigned. Let me assign to room 1. How's that? Unassigned. This should be working with 2. Okay. I think it just, for some reason, it did not assign everyone to room, so I am working on that right now. To have only one person left to assign. Let's see if this works. Give me a moment. It should be moving everyone that was not assigned. Okay, it's working now. Oh, Kushi, didn't work for you? You're the only one. Okay, hold on a second. I'll get you moved. Don't worry. I'm gonna go to room 2. There we go. I must have missed you. Sorry about that. There we go. 2, assign, move. There you go. We'll see you in room 2 shortly.
Thank you.
No problem. You know, technology, right?
Honestly, most of the facilities now are pretty state of the art. Oh, I think we're back in.
Okay, I think everyone is rejoining or has rejoined, which is awesome. It seemed like we needed a bit more time. Some of the photos were difficult to find. Usually, and I'll just give you a quick 1 minute here on an overview of what usually we are on campus, and we can do this and we can walk around the facilities, take pictures on our phone. It's much easier than, excuse me, than actually searching for them on the internet. So just kind of keep that in mind as you were putting this together. I think from what I saw, some of the pictures that were posted look quite good. You can collate those, get them together, and email them to me when you're completed. I'm going to give you a 5-minute break right now. So it's 10:18. It's going to give myself a 5-minute break. I have to head to the washroom. 10:18 to 10:23 we will resume. Okay, so 10:23 we'll be back. I'll just make sure that type a message in here just so everyone knows. Okay, break until 10:23. All right, we will see you in a few minutes. Okay, I am back. I am feeling a little bit relieved and ready to go for the last bit of this class. We are at 10:24. There's a few more slides I want to go through, but I hope everyone was able to participate well in that AODA accessibility photos, good and bad. I'm looking forward to seeing what you are able to share with me once, again, in-class assignments are due on Friday, 11:59 Eastern Standard Time, so they do not have to go in today. You know, it's easiest just to get them done in class and completed in class, but you know, I did realize this one took a bit more time than our last one, so do your best, you know, get in today if you can, but you don't have to have it in until Friday, 11:59. Just don't forget about it, okay? Sometimes you leave it for a day and then you forget. So have it into me by Friday at the latest. Okay, let's go back to our slides. Okay, we went to code interpretation. That's what led us on to the AOD track. And in-class assignment 2, which we just completed, okay, or in the process of completing. Cost savings. So when we go back actually to just this one slide, these are the 6 different areas we are looking at in recent changes in facilities. So demand and functional space, which is we have increased the ability to change the use of facilities when we look at swimming pools. When we go to classes that are being taught in pools, you know, we just don't use the lanes. We use all areas of the pool for all different classes. So you could see 5, 6 different classes running at the same time in one pool. Advanced technology, we've talked a lot about technology. The code interpretation, which is AODA. Cost savings, so recreation agencies are required to be financially accountable for their operations. Financial inefficiency can result in lost income, decreasing profits, and negative perceptions of an agency. So lots of debt benefits and lots of good reasons to try to save costs. And how do you save costs? Through utilities, maintenance, labor, and facility financing. So those are different ways that cost savings can be found. Protection against liability. Liability is an area that needs to be, let's get you back up here. Liability is an area that cannot be neglected, and you must take every precaution to protect users of their product. They must establish risk management strategies and provide facilities and equipment that are free of both mental and physical dangers. And there's all sorts of different reasons why you would want to protect people against liabilities. Now, what would happen, like, if staff get injured at work? So some of the biggest injuries when you think about liability are some of the smallest injuries. So the slips, trips, and falls are the most common injuries you'll find in a workplace. So if it takes place in the parking lot, usually during inclement weather, so if it's could be snowy, icy, you know, if you don't clear the snow, if you don't sand or salt the parking lot, if you don't clear your walkways, if you allow, you know, snow and ice to come into the facility, you have wet floors, you're not notifying people that the floors are wet, and so on. So, you know, people are definitely, I've seen many different injuries happen, or heard of many different injuries happening. I do sit on the Joint Health and Safety Committee on the Orillia campus and have had reports for the last 15 years of you know, people slip in the parking lot, and it's always very innocent. They slip, they, you know, land on their elbow, they break their arm, they fall on some wet stairs, get a concussion, and this is lost time at work, so not good. And then if there's visitors that get injured, then there's lawsuits that could happen if you're not trying to mitigate the dangers and the liability, then you will be found at fault for that. Those are just some examples. Sustainability refers to operating a facility while minimizing the long-term impact on the environment. So being green is another term for that we might fit into being sustainable. It lessens the negative influence on the environment. Recreation facilities are being designed and operated using technological advancements in materials and efficiency systems that minimize the effect on the environment. Now, in the chat, can anyone give me any examples that they know of or have recognized simply from sustainability? Is there anything that you can come up with that you've seen, witnessed? Kind of mentioned the LED lighting already. Okay, I'll give you another one to get you rolling here. How about natural light compared to lights? So you have windows, skylights, those sort of things will provide in less of an impact on the environment. Trees in facilities. So that's nice to add trees in the facility. Awesome. Thank you, Ariana. Water bottle refill stations. Very good, Sydney. Thank you for sharing that. We see at Georgian, there's many, what do they call them? I think they have a name for them, but I'm going to say refill stations, but there's some catchy name that comes up with them. I can't think of it right now. But yes, using reusable water bottles. Let's get rid of a plastic one-use bottle, right? What's the purpose of that? Like really not necessary. Recycling, Sirkan, yes, better recycling might be part of that statement. Recycling, almost every facility hopefully does it, but they need to consider better recycling. Better description, garbage, recycle, and green bins. I 100% agree with that. There are too many times that the recycled products are what they call contaminated and are not sorted, which is too bad because I know municipal recycling, I know where I live, everything can be what they call commingled and put together. But, you know, if you're dropping in, you know, pizza slices and apple cores into your cardboard, you know, things are not been sorted properly there, and garbage. So good ideas there. Also seen there is I think we will be talking about sustainability a bit more, but there are grades or levels that a building can receive when they become green. So it's called a LEED standard, and we will get into that. I think there's I don't have all the levels off the top of my head, but there's sort of a gold, silver, bronze rating. And Sirkan is typing something. Maybe Sirkan knows more than I do right now, so please share. Using green energy. Okay, just another example. Okay, excellent. Green energy. So it could be solar energy, and it could be other energy. You know, trees around the facility will help keep it cool, you know, if it's in the shade in the summer as well. So there's all sorts of, we will talk more about sustainability as we progress through the course. So positive versus negative, facility, functionality, employers, and users. These are three areas that can either be positive or negative. So facility functionality. When you go to an old facility, which the example I used to use is the Barrie YMCA that is located near sort of Dunlop and Grove, sorry, Bayfield and Grove. But they are just ripping that one down right now. That building and property has been sold. So they are, that building though, the old Barrie YMCA, was not very functionally positive. It had a lot of negative issues in there if you had ever been through there. This had a lot of additions done to it, many sort of narrow hallways, dimly lit, that sort of thing. Employees can also be positive and negative. It's kind of like the example of when you go to a restaurant and you have a good server or you have a bad server. And I bet we all have examples of bad servers, but probably good servers as well. And then, your good servers are usually, what happens is you tell your friends that, oh, I was at North Country Barbecue and it was amazing, or something like that. And you end up tipping the server a bit more if they do a good job. At least I tend to. Then there's the users. If users are disrespectful to the facility and the other users and the employees, so possibly maybe they leave garbage, maybe they don't wipe the machines after they're finished, possibly maybe they have bad body odor. Like that could be a real negative thing. We had one situation, and I don't even know their names, but there was 3 fellas that came in, and the old facility at Georgian used to be the front desk, similar to what it's like now, and then the stairs went up, and then there was where the multi-purpose room is where the weight room was, the fitness center, but the reception desk was right below that, a big open stairway. It's just been renovated and changed since the first go around of our facility before it was expanded. And these people, they had such bad body odor, you could smell them from upstairs to downstairs, and it was disgusting. People would leave the facility because it was that bad, and I don't know if they didn't change their clothes or if they didn't have bad personal hygiene, but we actually came to the point where because we were the manager of the facility, we had to give them, an option of either showering, changing their clothes, or they get their money back. And we actually had to end up giving their money back because they just had bad odor that the rest of our users did not appreciate. It was something that's hard to put into words, but maybe someone else has experienced that same sort of thing. Positive influences, so the existence of a facility has no significant significance in the product production and delivery occur. Okay, once management system is functioning within the facility has a reason to exist. And you make sure the facility and equipment are functioning properly for efficient, effective product delivery. Well, negative, a recreation facility is only as good as it is designed to function. Poorly designed facility can hinder the ability to produce a product to fulfill the expectations of employees and users. It's kind of like when you have a house and maybe your parents or you have renovated or built a house and you're building it like, oh, this is the perfect house. It's going to have a main floor laundry room. It's going to have big storage area, going to have a triple garage, whatever. And then you get into the house and it's still a few things that you'd like to change. So you get it to the best you can, but facilities always can be improved. So facility negative influences, some examples. So doors being locked when they should be opened, not having proper signs to direct users, maybe dead trees being a hazard and not being removed, snow left on sidewalks, and so on. We have design flaws, unclear spaces, maybe AODA not being up to standard. Those are all negative facility influences. And the same thing can happen with employees. Is a key component, primary goal of doing everything possible to produce and deliver a product that is valuable by users. Now we can think of maybe lots of examples, and I'd like to usually talk about restaurant experiences, but today we're going to skip over that. So make sure that your employees are trained to be competent through their education, certification, training, and professional development. So these are all possible training that could take place to make the user experience better. And negative ones, unfortunately, in some instances, employees can have a negative influence on a facility. Not showing up for work, displaying inappropriate attitudes or behaviors, performing poorly on the job can lead to unsatisfactory experience for the users. Maybe it's they don't look maybe they're in the restaurant business. You need to be somewhat well kept. You can't have, unclean hair, or looking, if you're serving, you want to have, be fairly clean if you're serving someone's food. It could be the way they look, could be their cleanliness as well. Come to work showered and maybe with nice body odor. And then the attitudes, it could just be the answers you get from staff that when you ask a question, or it could be, if you're an employer, it could be your employees showing up late. Like, how often, or do you need to have regular check-ins with the employee because they're showing up late or performing poorly on the job? And we will be talking 1 week about employees in particular and specifically, so we will talk way more about employees. And the users, we did talk a little bit about that. I gave some examples of people maybe not wiping their equipment or being disrespectful in different ways. So there's some links here that you can click on. And responsibilities of a recreation facility management. So ensure delivery, operate efficiently, be flexible, be cost efficient, maintain effective human resources and relations. And career implications. There are also many different areas that you can become connected to as a professional in facility management, depending on what area of facility management you are in. And in Canada, there's all sorts of associations, and we're just going to get to them right over here. And if you are clicking on any of these, you're able to see that, see what they are. And I'm going to just click on a few, and hopefully I am able to switch over to them. One moment. Yes, there it is. I'm going to switch to that one just for a moment. Okay, I know this is small, but if you're into childcare, ECE, Canadian Playground Safety Institute, you can actually join an institute that looks after playground equipment. So if you're looking after parks or playgrounds, then that's one area that might be, or one institute that you might want to belong to. Okay, let me get this next one. Canadian Therapeutic Recreation Association. So if you're more into the maybe seniors or people with disabilities, Canadian Therapeutic Recreation Association, you can belong to that one. I'll try the next one here. Oh, some of my links are not. I thought I checked these links yesterday, but they seem not to be. Okay, not that one. What's the next one here? Canadian Adult Recreation Hockey Association, I believe. Who we are. Okay, who we are. About us. We are the Canadian Adult Recreation Hockey Association. So there's, that could be one of the ones that you are interested in joining. There's another one here. It could be the Recreation Facility Association of Nova Scotia. So you can bet that every province in Ontario, in Canada, has a Recreation Facility Association that you can join. I think ORFA is Ontario Recreation Facility Recreation Association. And there's also, that one didn't work here. Okay, and as we just get back to my PowerPoint, we can see that We have the National Recreation of Parks Association. Some of these are American. Usually the ones that say national are American. National Education Association, NEA. International Association of Convention and Visitor Bureaus. Resort and Commercial Recreation Association. International Festivals and Event Association. National Collegiate Athletic Association, so we know better than NCAA. National Intramural Recreation Sports Association, NIRSA. I've belonged to a few of these in the past, depending on what your, I think that's my last slide, yeah. How about that? We've got down to the last slide, and we have a few minutes left. So I know I've zipped through a lot of information today. There's lots of different areas. I know I just touched on some areas that we'll be expanding on in future weeks. So I gave you a little bit of taste of a lot of things today. Hopefully you found some of that interesting. And it is 10:44 right now, and I am going to end the call, but I am going to stay online if there are any questions until everyone's gone. So it's been great seeing you this week, and please feel free to stay on and ask questions if you like to. Okay, have a great week. Remember, assignment 1 due Friday. Oh, I guess I didn't get to assignment 2. We'll talk more about assignment 2 next week, but it is posted and you are able to view it if you like. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording right now.